Some of my guns kind of come to me. I just stumble across them like this little Argentine cavalry Mauser. It just happened to see it, and figured out what it was. And the guy who owned the shop didn't even know what it was, and didn't know what it was worth. And I've had a few, like that 1907 Winchester too, is that way, where I just stumbled across it. But I knew what I was looking at there because I'd been kind of looking at one before. But some guns I really have to work for, which is the case on this. An M96 Swedish Mauser, that 6.5. Now, I've wanted one of them for about a year, but they're kind of hard to find that haven't been messed with. A lot of them have been shortened up, and this one is all original with all the matching numbers and in excellent condition. I will have to make one modification with it though. I've been down here shooting, and this sight starts out at 300 meters is the lowest setting. So at 100 yards, I'm shooting about a foot high. In order to hit the center of the target, I actually have to aim at the bottom of the target, which is hard to get it good, but it holds a good group. It's just that it's a foot high. So the change I can make is to the front sight. They have different numbered sights for them. This is a 0, and I know you can get them up higher to drop it down, because these are the original sights from when they used a lead bullet. And I don't know, that's, I'm shooting this, well, it's Wolf brand, but it's actually PPU. And it's a fairly hard hitting bullet. But I'll see, when I reload some, and then I'm going to cast some bullets for it and see how they act before I'm going to order a sight or maybe 2 sights so I can get ready for it, to drop her down some, because starting at 300 is a little hard, because that's kind of really the limit I'm going to be shooting at. Most of the time I'm shooting at 100 to 200. But, so they're very optimistic, this thing goes to 7 down here, or 600 meters, and then you flip it up, and it's calibrated on the back to 2,000, that you use by lifting that up. Well, that ain't too handy for me. But interesting design. It's kind of nice. It's got very similar lines to what my Argentine does, except it's got a hell of a lot more barrel. But the stock has got that same kind of elegant sort of look to it. Really a nice shape, but it took me a while to get a hold of this one. I've looked at some, I've been tempted, but so many of these were sporterized or even modified by the Swedes themselves, because they, there's a lot of these that they're calling M38s that they shorten the stock and shorten the barrel on them. And then there's some purpose-built that have the bent bolt, like what my Argentine does, but there was a lot of them that got modified. But this one hasn't been messed with at all, which is nice. But there again, like I say, it took a little work to get this one, to find a good one. Because, I'd run across them all the time, but, whoa, a lot of sporterized stuff out there. And I really wasn't looking to get into one of them. I've wanted one, but not that bad. But this is a 1906 model, and it's that gust of But I like it. You know, it's got a lot in common with my Argentine. But, you know, very small, that 6.5 bullet. So we'll see. You know, I want to do some reloading on these and then see where it hits, because like I say, now she's way too high to be really useful. But nice gun. I'm glad to have one. But I was beginning to doubt if I'd ever run across a good one. And I ran across this one a couple months ago, but I've been kind of working the deal. And I finally got her accomplished. And I got everything I need to reload for it. So I'm really kind of just emptying out this PPU stuff, so I've got some brass to work with. Because I've got bullets and everything. But I do want to get a mold and try casting for it too. Get it back to, you know, it might shoot then at a lower point, hopefully, because like I say, foot high, that's too high to be of much use. One thing this has got greatly in common with the Argentine is it does that cock on close, which is a little unusual. You know, it takes a little bit of getting used to. You know, because your instinct tells you if you feel resistance when you're closing the bolt to kind of take it cool, but now I got to remember to go right at the bottom of the target. But then she hits pretty good. But I don't want to get in a situation where you have to shoot underneath an animal. But like I say, I think this, you know, because these are known for having minimal recoil. But with this stuff, this ammunition, it's got a fair recoil to it. You know, not severe, but it's got a little hammer, considering it's a fairly heavy, long gun. But I like it. At least now my searching is over. And now I'm pretty well Mausered out. You know, sometimes they'll hang up when they go into feed. And I think it's this pointy bullet. But I've only had that happen a couple times. But that should do me on Mausers for a while. But no, I could do some reloading. And I actually lucked out. I've got a set of RCBS dies, but you know, normally I would just order the Lee stuff, but I was able to get them locally, the last set, you know, but somebody had them. And if I can buy them locally, it saves me the cost of shipping them, so I can actually get a, you know, maybe a little better die for the same amount of money. And I have them right away because I hate waiting for stuff. So now I'll put her to use. I've still got more of this stuff to shoot up, but I'll hang on to that and see, you know, get a little taller front sight and try that. But likable enough gun. And I'm glad to have that out of the way. The search. You know, I think I'm about done buying guns for a while though. That's been 3 of them in short order here. But when you run across deals like that 1907, you kind of got to take it. And when you know, I was getting the feeling that like the K31, that they pretty soon were going to be hard to come by, and that was a particularly good one, so you kind of got to grab them while you can. And this one is just nice because it's so original. You know, it hasn't been monkeyed with at all. You know, it's even got that original old leather sling on it. But I'm gonna check where these hit. But like I say, it's been grouping really good, but just really high. And I'd like to take it out. You know, the big pasture would tell me more, but it's too windy today to go out there. It's actually not windy enough down here. Mosquitoes are starting. But do a little more shooting that. Usually the smoke clears them out. But, you know, I've always heard good things about these Swedish Mausers, and I, myself, I am half Swede and half German, so this kind of fits right in there. And usually, you know, I can appreciate things that are Scandinavian. Their engineering, in particularly, I have always been impressed with. I'm not impressed with their fish pickling, but other than that, I pretty much, you know, if I have a problem, I kind of look to what the Scandinavians had done to solve that problem. And that usually is the way to go. Usually the simplest and most effective way. But I'll have to get different sights ordered because that just annoys me when they shoot that high. But in the meantime, I'll try some reloads and see if I can't bring it down. But I can't see dropping it more than about 6 inches. And like I say, I got to go a foot down. But it's an interesting gun to play with. And it satisfies that need I had. So it's nice to get those out of the way. Could be worse, you know, like if somebody really felt the need for one of these beautiful little Argentines, that's a lot harder to find. You know, the one Mauser that I still might, if I could get a good condition, full length Argentine at a reasonable price, I would maybe do it only because I'm already loading for them. You know, so it would be no big deal, but this one kind of fills that need. I like this gun. But let's see, play with that a little bit. I think that's going to be a favorite. They all tend to be favorites. Every day, a different one is a favorite.